Your mother was a whore and a junkie. You
Ooh.
remember? You remember that, friend?
And what is that from? Holiday Heart?
It wasn't Holiday Heart. It was a Tyler Perry movie where the great Lynn Whitfield played the mother, and it was a line in there for ones that remember. She was having a conversation with the daughter that she pretty much hated.
Oh, is this the wedding one with the beautiful wedding with the angels?
Exactly. And she was on there and she said, she was telling her life story, and she said, my mother was a whore and a junkie. I was like, it's a lot.
One thing I remember from that movie is the boiling of grits on the stove for Mr. Blair Underwood.
That definitely was.
Some hot grits on the stove. Hey guys, we are back you guys, our rewinders, our friends. Welcome back to Rewinding the Week with K and J Season 3.
I'm K. He's J.
Yes. So, friend, it's still Black History Month.
Amen.
So, how are you celebrating Black History Month?
I am celebrating Black History Month by being black.
Amen.
By being black, being unapologetically black.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's what I am about. This
yes.
Not only this month, but all 12 months of the year.
366, right?
Yes.
We gonna add in another day if it ain't leap year, right?
Yes.
I trying to do something with the Rainbow History Project to promote Black History Month. Just to educate people, not just that history is across the United States, but actually here at home in the DMV area as well, as far as Black history. And history is still being made every day.
That's true.
So support Black History Month, support Black businesses.
Yes.
So, friends, it's cold. And it's supposed to be a snowstorm coming. We're recording on February 17th. Mm-hmm. So by the time you guys hear this episode, snow hopefully, prayerfully will be gone. But I am over this icy weather, friend.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday I was coming home and I seen. Typically we have like little bunnies that are around here. One time I seen a little red fox.
Friend, I did see a raccoon.
You seen a raccoon before? So when I was coming home, I seen a bunny and it was real cold outside. And I'm looking at the bunny like, "What you doing out here?" And the bunny looking at me like, "Damn, I made a mistake. I don't know why I came out." Like, and I'm like,
not
it's
the
cold.
Bunny, Fred. Did the bunny go back inside?
Yeah, the bunny went somewhere, but he wasn't supposed to be out here. It's too cold.
Oh yes, we gotta protect the bunnies. I'm over this freezing rain. I did it on my birthday.
I did.
But shout out to my friends for still coming to support me as I aged on to 28.
More like 58. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So thank you, co-host and friend, for that.
Course.
I mean, he went through the fire.
I did, y'all.
Through the limit, through the wall. You did. So thank you so much, friend. Mm-hmm. I wanted to travel for my birthday, but I did not because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of my friends, they have kids and things like that where they may not feel that it's safe to really go somewhere and bring back something or have to quarantine from their kids. But friend, I was struggling because I wanted to be on somebody's beach.
I can understand that. Well, hopefully you can a little later this year. Once you can get to have the vaccine and all that jazz and you feel a little more comfortable. But, of course, we know that is not safe proof. And
friend, I was getting ready to risk it all just to go. I missed the beach and, my friend, he went out of town. He went to a nice resort somewhere and beautiful pictures and the ocean and things. And I was just like, oh, my goodness, if only.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you do what you need to do, I have traveled in COVID a couple times, and it is a bit stressful as far as, you're going to be around a good bit of people and navigating that. But for the most part, I have, my experiences have been pretty good in traveling.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to getting on a certain flight. It's maybe 10 people or 15 people that are going the same place you are. So that's nice.
But see, I don't want to, you see those instances on like YouTube and social media where you have that one person on the plane want to take the mask off.
Yeah.
Or don't want to abide by the rules or have a statement to make. Then the plane got to turn around or they get kicked off. Like, I'm not trying to be all for that. You know what I'm saying? So friend, like if you were to go somewhere after the vaccination, after they say, okay, you guys can travel and we'll go around just a little bit, where would you go if you could?
If I could, I would go to Jamaica because I've had to put that trip on hold.
Oh yeah, I remember.
That was a trip that I had already planned to take after my graduation back in 2020. So I'm just like that's where I wanna go as soon as everything is back to whatever it's supposed to be, because we can't even say back to normal at this point.
Yeah, new normal.
This is the new normal, and we're just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, and make the best of it. Friend, I don't know. I think I probably would want a beach. I want to be in the water. I would probably say maybe the Bahamas.
Okay.
Or Puerto Rico, or if all else fails, Florida, Miami, which is where I love to vacation on the East Coast. But really, if I can truthfully say, if I could be blessed to go somewhere, and somebody listening can help your boy out, it would be Hawaii.
Okay.
That is on the list. I think that would be one of the first places I would go. Hawaii.
Well, just keep hope alive.
Keep praying.
And keep praying. Keep going.
Talking to people. Never know. So, friend, before we move on to our Kings and Queens segment, I was watching the town hall of President Biden, 46th President of the United States, for his first town hall as president. I thought it was very well done.
Okay.
But I understand that some people express concerns with the student loan debt. Have most people, or whether what aisle you are on, with like $50,000 wiped from the student loan debt, where he said the best he could do, at least right now, is $10,000. I mean, something's better than nothing.
That's true.
So I was like, let me dive into some research, and found that $1.57 trillion go to student loan debt. That's the outstanding balance in the United States. And 54% of college attendees need loans to pay for their education. And I'm one of those 54% people.
I am as well.
And so, I mean, I think for me, learning is, for me growing up, you listen to these stories of you have to go to school, you have to go to college, you have to get a degree. But sometimes, at least for the 54%, you're not told how to fund that education or how to save for that education. And so even when you, as soon as you graduate, you got 3-6 months before you have to start paying those things back. And who's to say you found a steady job making what you can go back to, or what you can pay back to? So, I just thought that was an interesting take.
No, I remember in my own personal experience of student loan debt, my grandparents took out a small loan. I got grants and scholarships, but that wasn't enough to cover, fully. So you had to take out student loans, and at the time you're like, oh, okay, I'll just take it out and do what I need to do. But when it hits, it hits,
and you got deferred,
right? So every amount of help, or whatever amount of help we get, would be greatly appreciated. But Lord knows, I would have enjoyed that $50,000 too.
Yes, Lord. But COVID has been, for some people, aside from the turmoil that it's caused, in a way for people not to have that student loan financial burden.
Oh yeah,
at least federally.
And for some people, it's been a blessing. Because they've been able to put their loans in deferment, and for the ones who weren't able to work at the top of COVID, they were making more money than I was, in a sense, because they were like, oh, well, on top of that, we giving $600 extra for unemployment. Yeah. Like, people were living good.
They were, yeah.
So that's, of course, I'm assuming they're back to regular now. I don't know. But yeah,
I won't be paying, right now. So, but it's been extended. So, that's our little rewind in the week to catch up with one another. So, guys, I want to do a Kings and Queens segment, as we always do. And this one goes out to a queen, an activist, an educator in HIV, information and sexual health and advancement. And that will be Deidre Johnson. She's known on social media as Deidre Speaks. I met with her at an event during a panel discussion about HIV in Washington, D.C. I want to say in 2019. She has been an advocate and educator for 19 years in Virginia. She represents the 804 where I'm from. There was an op-ed about her work and also a poem that she wrote called Today I Cried on marksking.com. She saluted the Positive Women's Network, which lifts up the voice of Black women in the HIV movement throughout 2020, leading up to their first annual hashtag Celebrate and Honor Black Women Day on March 12, 2021. Black women are often seen less, heard less, and valued less in the movement for social justice, despite being the organizers, the activists as well. Meanwhile, they are also more likely to contract HIV, experience intimate partner violence, and forego self-care while working to maintain the household. And that is from the Positive Women's Network research, and they say we need and demand better. One thing I like about Deidre from Deidre Speaks, she has the hashtags on her posts. Meds will make me dance, and also hashtag time to take your meds. So this goes to Deidre Speaks Johnson, our queen for our Kings and Queens segment today.
That's awesome.
So thank you, Deidre, for all that you do. It was great meeting you and chatting with you a few times on Facebook. Keep up the amazing work, people. Please follow her. Go and check out her poem, Today I Cried, at marksking.com. Friend, I hand it over to you to pop the cork.
Oh, pop the cork. So my pop the cork this week, just on a petty note.
Wouldn't be you if it ain't petty.
I just want to talk about driving, specifically on the interstate. When you are driving, let me ask you, friend, when you're driving and you're in the fast lane, what are you supposed to do?
I'm driving, I'm in the fast lane. That's all the way over to the left?
Yes.
I'm supposed to, well, if you asking me, friend, I am going to go the speed limit, but I will not go over maybe 10 miles per hour over that speed limit.
Okay, that's fair enough. Because I thought you was gonna say you just gonna go on the speed miles. You're gonna say get your ass over.
No.
Okay.
Because that is the fast lane. If not, you're gonna get ran over.
Right, exactly.
Or you go to another lane. So I do either no more than 10 miles per hour over because I would say this before you go, friend, is because sometimes them police be in the cuts in that authorized personnel only thing. They ain't trying to get pulled over.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely true. But part of that of being in the fast lane, what I've experienced here lately, is that people are getting in the fast lane and then you're behind them because you want to go fast, and they have the audacity to put on their brakes.
Ooh, they rolled the brakes for
and
you.
Ride their brakes, or to prevent you from being behind them. Mind you, in my experience, I haven't been on anybody's bumper, but I'm behind them in the fast lane, and I think just because I'm behind them, they're like, oh well, you need to go in another lane. No, you need to get your ass out the fast lane and get out the way.
Not I can't stand it.
I cannot stand it. I'm like, you gonna get in the fast lane when you know you are going probably below the speed limit, and then on top of that, you're going to like step on your brakes in order for me to get from behind you. No, I can't take it. So I had that happen recently, and what I would say for the ones that are out there doing it, you need to be careful because you don't know what people are keeping in their glove box.
That's true, but you don't. But that go for both sides, which we'll probably catch on later today. But for me, friend, I did that whole tap the brake, ride the brake thing, get that person up off your bumper. But I'm like, if my mom would always say, you in a rush to go nowhere. So I learned from past experiences with road rage, dealing with people, is you know what? I'm just going to take my little behind onto the next lane, the middle lane. And, but sometimes people are driving slow because the other person in front of them are driving slow.
Oh, yeah. So I can recognize all like that.
So if that happens to me, I'm like, okay, you go ahead and be behind that person. So you going to have it. So I get over. Because you know what? These people are crazy nowadays.
No, people are crazy.
Road rage is real.
So what I say is when I do have that experience, I do get out from behind that person and go around if I can. Now, I have had it to where a person to come and do that tapping of the brake in the fast lane, and then I get over, and they have the audacity to get over in my lane and do it again. Now, that at that point, you trying me. So, I might have an issue. But I'm like, please, by all means, just get over in the lane in which you want to, if you're going a certain speed, just get over. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So that's just my petty moment. I'm like, you can tap the brakes all day, honey, but be careful.
I feel I had a road rage incident, and I think that's what got my first car totaled. So I learned from that, and I said, well, if it's that important for that person to be going when all up on my butt, I'm just gonna slide on over and let them have their way.
Part of that probably is why a friend's car was told. The other part is he like dry his eye closed.
Ooh, I do get tired sometimes. That's why with my little bifocals at night.
I can't.
Okay. All right, friends. So what are we drinking today?
What are we drinking today? So, this brand is called Shiraz. Is that right?
Shiraz. Hallelujah.
Shiraz, and it is the company is called Coco Para. Mm-hmm. It's very cute, y'all. It has a little bird on here with some I don't know if you call that paisley.
Yes.
And what I will say is that it has a good bit of body. It is a blended red, apparently. And I can rock with it. I feel
you tasted it.
Yeah,
what
I
you
have
think?
Right here. I like it. I think it hits. It hits pretty well. I'm getting a good earthy undertone.
Okay.
Maybe like an oak or something like that.
Okay.
But it works.
It's a mellow. Full-bodied. It's bursting with, some fruit and spicy black pepper, friend.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah,
okay.
The oak probably tastes coming from that black pepper.
I'm here for it.
So how does it differ from, I'm a Cabernet person.
Right.
And Merlot. So how do you think it differs from the Merlot and
I don't know if it
the other reds?
I don't know if it necessarily differs, but now that you say it has the pepper in it, it's like, okay, I can see that's like the distinction before, aside from what you typically drink.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think the black pepper comes at the aftertaste, at least for me. Mm-hmm. Like when that last swallow goes down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, friend is a swallower. Friend is, he know how to say that word, y'all. All right.
No, the black pepper.
I sip.
Fred, you gonna have me spill.
I sip.
You gonna have me spill this wine on this computer, honey. So thank you for the pop the cork and letting our listeners know what we are drinking. And thank you for that shade, Fred, because I love it.
I was like, Fran walked right into that.
Yes,
one.
I did. I said, should I say this word? But I just have to go with what I feel. So
I mean, you right. You go what you feel in your throat. All right. So, go ahead.
Oh, well, we need probably take a moment out because we about to talk about a scripture.
But, oh, bless it. Amen.
But hey, we all here. So, I'll grab your glasses.
Yes, grab our glasses and toast.
And we got a toast to this. And it's
I don't like that clean. That clean. Try it again.
These are stemless.
Oh, that's true.
So that stem has that cling.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, honey.
Continue.
So we have faith, joy, faith, fears, and tears.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to talk about how you and I, and how individually, how we deal with our faith in uncertain times. Not what's going on in the world of what we see on CNN, but what goes on in the world of KNN and JNN. And then with our friends, how do we balance our faith with our joy, which we're excited about, that some things came through, that we prayed for, that we wrote in our vision boards, that we talked about on previous episodes. And then how do we utilize that when we have our fears and our tears? Okay. And I want to reference James chapter 1, verse 3, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. So my question would be for this grab your glasses is, so friend, with faith, how do you deal with it in the joyous times of your life? And then how do you deal with it when it's not looking so good, so joyful?
Before I get into that, y'all don't be talking about us because God turned water into wine, okay?
Yes, and this has been blessed.
I know y'all over there just saying they over there drinking and talking about God. So yes, friend. So how do I deal with balancing my faith in joyous times and in not so joyous times?
Because it's easy in the joyous time. Like, oh, my faith did that, but then in the thing is like, oh my God, can my faith do that?
Okay.
You like how I did that?
You know, you like it. You like it. That's all that matters. So what I will say is, I have had a good bit of trials and tribulations. I have been tested many times, not just in my faith, but in, the person in which I am now and who I was then. And it can be rather challenging to navigate tough times when you have them and look to faith as your uplift. And the reason why I say it can be tough times is because when you go through something, oftentimes you always hear us say we need to pray, pray about it, and ask God what to do. And let's be clear, I know who God is for me. For everyone else or for other people, they have different beliefs, and there's nothing wrong with your different beliefs. You may believe in energy. You may believe in, whatever higher power is. When I'm talking about God, I'm encompassing the higher power for everybody. If you are going into it in that light and saying, I need that type of reassurance, I need that uplifting, it can be challenging to at least get your mind to the point of feeling that you are being uplifted. Because you can be in such a dark space that it just takes you to a place to where you're like, I can't pull myself up out of this alone. And so that's where, for me, that's where prayer has been, the strong source. And not only just prayer, but also listening from God, in my experience, for him to say, for he or she to say, because, we don't know.
Okay, come on.
And for that person to say to me, hey, I'm here for you, but I'm also giving you the resources to do what you need to do to get out of it. What am I talking about? Therapy. Speaking with a therapist, speaking with friends who have had that same experiences. Energy is everything. And when we have certain energy or certain vibes, that can just manifest into something that we haven't even thought that we could do. So in my tough times, yes, definitely have prayed long and hard, and many times, and I am grateful for the message that I have received from God on numerous occasions to say, I'm here for you, and I'm always going to be here for you. And not only that, here are some people that are going to be resources physically in front of you to help you get through your trying time. So I attribute all of my growth from friends and family who have gotten me through tough times. And even in the good times, I know I have had many times in which, things are going well, and I may unfortunately let my mind go to a place of like, oh, but I'm not here yet. But, I'm doing well, but, this ain't work out. So technically I'm not doing well.
Is that when you see other people doing something?
It could be other people doing something. For me, I am my worst critic. I am my worst critic. And I realize that over the years, I have really beat myself up about things that I feel like I could do better, that I could change. And I have been fortunate enough to really have people around me to say, wait a minute, like, yeah, you saying you can do X, Y, and Z, but take a moment and realize what you have accomplished.
Right.
Do you not see that you've done X, Y, and Z? Do you not see you've done this? And so I say that to say, take the time to stop and look back if you have to, and say, okay, where did I come from? Because I didn't get here just out of a whim. I got here through something. So where did I come from? And just really taking a moment to live and sit in that and say, okay, I have found, a purpose, or found my purpose. And that's key. That is something that we all strive to get to. But even in those great times, we just have to remember to be humble,
sit down.
And sit down, and really just be in tune with ourselves, and give ourselves grace.
Two things I want to point out. It's like I'm learning for myself. It's okay to take those compliments, because we are our worst critic.
Yeah.
Or I know for me, and I'll talk about me, of course, is you get a compliment and then you veer off to compliment somebody else or something. Like, okay, you did good. Yeah, but you did good too. You're doing your thing. It's to own your shit and to say, I did that.
Yeah.
And so I'm really learning to say thank you. Not thank you, but.
Right.
Or thank you next.
I used to do that often. I'd be like, thank you, but
you doing your thing, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
So you're putting out into your own audience, and people are giving you your own insecurities with what you are accomplished. So now people say, Jamal, you do this, you rock, you blah, blah, blah. Even though at that time sometimes I don't feel it, I say thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say thank you but anymore. I'm going to accept it, because we all got some trials and tribulation that we just got to overcome, and things that we're going to, live to tell. But, my second thing is, before we, I speak, is, has there been a time where you have lost your faith? Or not lost it, but put it aside, or felt it was not working for you, where you said, Ken is just going to have to do it on his own?
I haven't had an experience where I just completely put my faith aside. I have had many experiences where I put it behind me. And it could have been for various reasons. Me going through something so much as like, a heartbreak, and trying to work through that, but not really paying attention to, what my faith could allow me to do to get out of that space. Kind of putting that aside because you're just so consumed with what's going on in that moment that for me, I was like, okay, I'm not even, I don't feel like prayer is going to help me get through this today. So I have put it on the back burner before. And in those times, I've realized that, of course, as I put it on the back burner, I am not getting anywhere in which I would have gotten had I, talked to him and let him lead the way. So I would say that for the ones who have put their faith aside, whatever that faith may be, you may have that moment, but just take a breath and just say, okay, is this really going to help me in the long run? Like, what is going to pull me out of this rut? And go from there. That's been my experience overall.
That's great. I was talking with my mom the other day, and my mom always says, Jamal, you're riding on my prayers, and I know in some cases, heck yeah, that's true, but I also know and say, well, Queen, I know how to pray as well.
Okay. And I was wondering what that saying, because I hadn't heard that. You said riding on.
So it's kind of like an old saying. Okay. Like you riding on, like, cause you know that song, somebody pray for me, had me on their mind, took the time to pray for me. It's so kind of like that. Okay. So, and I can tell you, I go to my mom's house and you would see a picture of me on like a family picture.
It was always you praying.
No, it won't always be praying. It was slapped down with anointing oil, and to the point where it would have like a black light in there or whatever. You just see a holy oil, holy water all over my pictures. And I can say that has helped me get to where I am today and to go further. But we were talking, and one thing we talked about was with faith, and why I wanted to talk about it is because it is the evidence of things not seen but hoped for, and having it by faith and not by sight, but to also understand that this because we have faith or we're believers and things like that doesn't mean that exempts us from the hardship of the world around us.
Absolutely not. If anything, it's worse on us. So absolutely not.
That instead of it's not a guarantee that you won't have suffering. Right. It's that you have a reliable source to go to in your suffering. And one thing I've learned to say is not why is it happening to me, but why is it happening for me? But there are cases and things, where when I was younger and even as an adult that I've lost my faith, or not lost it because it's always been a part of me, but as saying, well, I guess, God ain't hearing me today, right. Or I feel in my own sin or in my own wrongdoings or my own things in which I feel like I can't make that connection. And so I just go into that fear and tears part of feeling like the world is surrounding me and I don't know which way out. But then to remember, I've been through this before, or I've been through worse, or I've gotten through it. And so I think that's where my faith comes back into saying, okay, this is what I can do. This is how I can do it. Not necessarily it's going to be a walk in the park, but something just to lean on and to rely on.
Have you ever been ashamed of your faith?
I don't think so. What would you say, like a shame? Was there like an example?
Have you ever had an experience where you've been ashamed of your faith in a sense of what you have experienced growing up in, the Black church?
So, for me personally speaking, I've been upset with people who act as church goers but not show love to all individuals, accepting of all. I've never, like I said many times, even on the show, is I don't understand how you can hate your child for who they are and what they believe and who they choose to love, but love someone who you have not seen.
Right.
And even the Bible says that you should not, if you have a problem with your brother, you need to go fix that thing with your brother first before you even go to the altar. You know what I'm saying? I think that gets misconstrued. So I wouldn't say ashamed, but disappointed that when the words and scriptures and things are used to hurt other people. Because I believe for me, and I can say for I've been through things with my family. I've been through things in the Black church and other religions and things like that. But what helped me was, one, knowing what God says about me and what the Bible says about me. And also my own personal relationship, and to dig deep into the love for one another. Right. How you treat your neighbor, how you treat your brother, how you treat your family member, because that comes first.
That's true.
And so I have not been ashamed. I just been disappointed to see that used as a weapon to hurt other people.
And it is, in my experience, unfortunately, it has been in the Black church in which we have had those types of encounters with people who, are saying that they are walking by faith, but not really preaching what they are or practicing what they're preaching.
Right. Because we all have something to be held accountable for.
Exactly.
No matter what that case may be, but that's between you and your Creator. That's between you and God. Right. And so what Ken do and what Ken talks about when he closed the doors and has his prayer is only with Ken. But one thing somebody said is, you can't tell me what God said about me because he got my line.
Exactly. Which is true. And
we talk every day.
So that's important to realize in your faith, in whatever you believe in, is that as long as you have that relationship with your faith, that's what's important, and not what everybody else is saying how your relationship should go. So that's what I was getting at.
Yes. Well, thank you, Fran. Guys, that was Keeping the Faith. Joy, faith, fears, and tears. And as Ken said, it's always good to look up for counseling and therapy as well.
Yeah, because God puts people in your life. I firmly believe that He'll place people in your life to help you through a lot of different things, and I'm grateful for that because of course, that relationship with Him is strong, but He's also like, here's somebody in the flesh to help you along the way.
It's kind of like that Good Samaritan, story of the other people just passing you by. You have that one person that really help because he sends these people. And friends are great, but as I'll talk about tomorrow on a panel discussion, which will be on the 19th, so you guys will be hearing this late, but
yes, for plug
on Real Talk.
I was going to say, let them know,
with Nova Salute and Arturo Hill. is sometimes our friends are great resources, but they can only go so far.
Very true.
Because some of them are not trained professionals. Some people,
and
some
they're
of them
biased.
have their bias, and then sometimes they have their own stuff going on. And then what I've learned too is, and we might veer off topic with this, but it's to say, some friends will tell you what they will do, but they wouldn't do.
Yeah.
That because you're like, well,
it's always easy to give advice
that you ain't in,
that you're not in. Like I say, I can give you advice all day, friend, but I may not take that advice for myself.
Friend, you better take the advice you give me.
But that's the reality. You know, like when you can give great advice to someone else, but when it comes to yourself, you're not doing what you need to do.
That's true. So, friends, that was our Grab Your Glasses for our episode. So, thank you.
Amen.
I'm going to go ahead and pour that out. And pour this out is for a young girl at the age of 18 years old who was shot and killed February 14th of this year in Temple Hills, Maryland, which the family has stated during a road rage incident. Her name was Sierra Young. I found out about her story from Washington, local news in Washington, D.C., as well as from social media on Facebook. Learn more about Sierra Young. Go to the GoFundMe.com page to support her family for funeral and burial expenses. Just type in Sierra Young. This past Tuesday, her family and friends gathered for a peace rally against gun violence in the community. So my pour this out is for Sierra Young and for your family, and hope that your family gets the support that they need for the burial. And that's my pour it out, friend.
Okay.